I begin my day by running with this crew called All Heart Running Club. We usually meet at Jeffrey Trail here over in Irvine. And so I'm on my way to meet with them. I usually meet with them at a park. All right. Hey guys. So we are in the middle of our run. We did 3 miles. In my mornings, I usually get my exercise in because there's no other time to really do it, and motivated and amplified. We just finished our run. We had just under about 7 miles, and so we're starting our day. So we got AHRC, the All Hearts Running Club, and thank you guys. Someone might ask, what do you do when you're driving? Someone may not ask, but I'll tell you anyway. I should think about my schedule, because if I don't think about my schedule right now, I'll start thinking about it when I should be praying. That way, I can focus on my parishioners and Jesus when it comes to morning prayer. And sometimes I don't think. I also like listening to all these K-pop songs. Feeling that? Dude, I have no clue what this song is. I don't know the soundtrack. Oh yeah, I know this one. This one's good. I think this is IU. This is also how I practice my Korean, you know? Listen to these songs and try to figure out what they're saying. And then, I don't know, like whatever your typical person does when they're driving, you like replay scenarios in your mind and you're like, did I say the right thing? Did I? It's people stuff. I usually keep my rosary right here in this little pocket. Check out that color. It's like this nice like midnight blue, sea breeze green, I don't know, whatever Crayola color you want to think of that fits that description. But it's pretty cool. And it's made by my parishioners. You can buy it at your local Our Lady of Peace for $29.95, and I'm just kidding, it's not for sale.
It's so important to have a daily spiritual plan, a plan of life. It doesn't matter if you're a priest or a lay person. So I always begin my day, regardless of what kind of noise I have before me, to just sit in silence with Jesus. It is a total necessity. I need to ask him. I have to check in with him. I have to ask, how are you going to use me today to save souls? No day is like yesterday. It's always different. And then, about a half hour before Mass, I try to hear some confessions. It's always sobering. God reminds me that I'm nothing. When I hear confessions, I remember I'm a poor sinner. And yet, God has given me this task to take care of his children. I mean, it really is a wild dream. I remember in college, one of my business professors telling me, if you don't know what you're doing, just fake it till you make it. And I sometimes think about how dads, when leading their families, sometimes have no idea if they're making the best decisions. And I confess sometimes I feel ill-equipped for guiding souls. What if I say the wrong thing? What if I make the wrong choice? But every morning, the fact that I can celebrate Holy Eucharist, Jesus reminds me that I'm not in charge. by being in union with Him, He will lead me. Some days are peaceful, some days are not. But no matter what happens, it's all good.
It's my business manager, and this is my daily cup of Korean medicinal gobbledygook. Not the best, but it's good. Then come into my office, pretend to do important things, and stay hermited here till it's time to go home, staring at moving pictures. I'm just kidding.
제대로 하세요.
Let's pretend to learn.
진짜로 하세요.
네. To read good. AKA Zoolander. 도시락을 계산하면 사내가 말했다. 산해 진미. 그 해랑 산. Surf and turf.
그래서 감추다.
네.
그래서 감춰 놓았어요. 감춰놨는데.
아저씨네.
아저씨네.
인경은 저벅저벅.
서로
그게 시시비비 따지는 거죠.
맞아요.
네.
근데 시시콜콜 따지는 거는
They have all these words with these familiar sounds. It's like pasak pasak. It's like who makes this stuff up? 죄송합니다.
I admit I'm blessed, to have this Devout Legion of Mary chapter at my church.
Okay,
We have over 100 members, and midweek I get to check in with them and eat some really, really good home-cooked meals. These ladies and the members are the real deal. Many look like ordinary parishioners, but their personal apostolate is constantly in the back of their minds. How do I convert souls at my business? Or how can I be more intentional to serve the poor? How do I inspire my children to turn to God in their daily life? These are the ongoing thoughts of prayerful souls. They truly are a joyful bunch.
주님께서 여러분과 함께
또한 사제의 영과 함께
전능하신 천주 성부와 성자와 성령께서는 여기 모인 모든 이에게 감복하소서.
아멘.
주님 참여합시다.
주님 감사합니다.
네, 감사합니다.
감사합니다.
네. Put up the park with a skateboard. I skinned it from a 9-year-old at my church. I'm just kidding, I didn't do that. But I am borrowing it. Let's see what this can do. And we're here at the park, and it's always good sometimes to decompress and not think too much about all the different tidbits and issues at church. It is a good way for me to just get away and chalk the knock. It's super cool. Let's say hi to Father Joe for us. Alright, so we just had a really good skate sesh. It was cool. We met a parishioner from St. Edward's named Noah. He just talked about his marriage with his wife Angela about a month and a half ago by my classmate Father Joe. But I just got a sick call. It's an emergency, so I better head over to the hospital. So we're gonna head down to Laguna Woods. Let's do this. So fortunately, it's not an emergency, but it's good that we're here because they've been wanting for me to anoint.
You never really know what to expect with sick calls. Sometimes these are the most powerful moments of conversion. Sometimes you're like, man, why did the phone ring? But I've learned early on, you never take chances. You always go promptly if possible. And I'm then amazed by some of these moments when there are tremendous conversions. And these are sometimes perhaps those final moments in life. And when you can save a soul in their last breath, you know it's worth it. The lack of sleep, the minute you have to drop everything and leave a scene, it's all worth it.
So, yeah, it was a great anointing. He had a hip surgery and he was in a lot of pain, so he was very grateful. Now we get back to church, do some prayer. Siempre adelante. 안녕하세요. Wow. Today is Chesa. We're doing my grandfather's funeral anniversary. So we are going to send him our respects. And this is part of a Korean tradition. So that's what we do once a year. 성부와 성자와 성령의 이름으로 아멘.
You know, I count my blessings with my family living here in the diocese. I get to catch up with them when I need. And then I always come back home and review my day with Jesus, examine my conscience and see how I could do better tomorrow. Then I get to bed because tomorrow I begin again. And that, my friends, is a day in the life of a priest.